The jungle burned violet in the night. Bioluminescent vines twisted around broken metal, and smoke coiled from the wreck of Shuttle T-09. The flames didn't last long. Erivo's IV's air-choked oxygen, and the fire died hissing. What remained was silence, except for the steady hum of alien drones circling above the canopy. Cadet Mira Solen crawled from the wreckage, armor cracked, blood painting her visor. Her squad was gone. No signals, no motion. The comms channel screamed static. She ripped the helmet off and let the toxic air bite her lungs. It tasted of iron and rot. Soul respond. Her command link rasped once, then cut. A final heartbeat of hope, then silence. She stood among the ruins of her training mission. A simple survey turned slaughter. 10 signatures had appeared on orbital scans before contact vanished. Then came the crash, the fire, and the laughter. Not human laughter. The Dravik had arrived. They called it the hunt. Every few cycles, the Dravik High Lords released their elite across war-torn worlds to harvest trophies, skulls, spines, DNA. Humanity was just another species on their list. But this time, they made it personal. They'd found a human shuttle, sabotaged its navigation, and waited for the survivors to scatter like frightened prey. Only one had survived. Mira's hands shook as she scavenged from the bodies. She took Sergeant Vale's pulse rifle, its charge half spent. She removed Corporal Henning's tag, thumb pressing blood into the engraving. Her breath trembled once, but she forced herself calm. Emotions could wait. Survival couldn't. She whispered, "You wanted to see how humans die. Let's see how we live." Something moved through the trees. Slow, deliberate steps, three-legged gait, heavy armor grinding. Mira pressed flat against the charred hull, eyes searching. The Dravik hunter emerged from the mist. 7 feet tall, scaled plates black as obsidian, twin lenses glowing amber. It dragged a blade shaped from bone and plasma. The creature sniffed the air, tilting its head. Its voice rasped through a translation modulator. "Cadet Mira Solen. Last human on Erivos. You will run now. Make it worthy." Mira didn't move. "You talk too much." The alien laughed, deep and guttural. "Brave prey. I like that." It raised its weapon, but the plasma bolt came first. Mira fired once, precise and silent. The bolt tore through the creature's throat. It staggered, shocked, clutching at the wound. She didn't watch it fall. She moved, fast and low, deeper into the trees. Every sound mattered now. Every second was survival. She ran until her lungs ached, then hid beneath the roots of a massive fungal pillar. Her hands bled from bark and wire. She checked her ammo. 3 bolts left. 10 hunters on the planet. She'd killed one. 9 remained. Mira opened her helmet's cracked display and accessed the mission log. The data core was still intact. If she could reach the emergency beacon 3 clicks north, she could transmit the truth. The Dravik had violated the Galactic Accord. The Council thought humanity's peace treaty meant safety. But peace was just a pause before another war. Her throat tightened at the thought of home, of the blue marble hanging in the void, blissfully unaware. Her mother's voice echoed in memory. "If they ever come again, don't run, Mira. Make them regret it." She smiled without warmth. "I'm working on it, Mom." Hours passed. The alien night sang, shrill insects, soft thuds, distant screams. She wasn't alone out there. The Dravik moved in packs, communicating through pheromones and sound pulses. They'd find the corpse soon, track her scent, tighten the circle. Mira prepared. She set traps using power cells and shrapnel. She coated her armor in mud to mask thermal signatures. Every step she took became deliberate, calculated. Fear became fuel. Training took over where terror wanted to live. When dawn's twin suns bled red light through the fog, she was ready. The first of them came at sunrise. 2 hunters, 1 airborne, 1 groundbound. She heard the faint distortion of their cloaking fields before they moved. Mira crouched behind a ridge, heart steady. She waited until the shadow passed, then triggered the trap. The explosion tore the air apart. Shards of plasma ignited the canopy. 1 Dravik disintegrated midair. The other fell screaming, armor melting into its flesh. Mira rose, rifle raised, and fired the second bolt. Silence followed. 2 more skulls. 8 left. She retrieved a cracked visor from the burning wreck and strapped it to her arm as a makeshift shield. The surface still reflected, faintly, showing her blood-streaked face. The cadet was gone. What stared back looked like something the jungle had claimed. She whispered, "You wanted a hunt. You've got one." Far above, aboard an invisible ship in orbit, the Dravik warlord watched through his visor feed. He turned to his attendant. "The human kills. Impressive for prey." The attendant hissed, "Shall we extract her, my lord?" "No. Let the others finish the sport. If she survives," he smiled, teeth like obsidian knives, "then humanity deserves our respect. If she dies, her bones will remind them what defiance costs." Below, Mira scavenged what she could and looked toward the horizon, where smoke marked the Dravik landing zone. The beacon lay beyond it. She whispered to the jungle, to the stars, to every human who'd ever been told they were lesser. 10 came for me. I'll send back 10 skulls." The wind carried her vow across the ruins, mixing with the distant roar of alien laughter. But for the first time that night, the laughter didn't sound victorious. It sounded nervous. Erivo's Ivy's dawn was a bruise of red and gray. The jungle steamed under twin suns as Mira Solen crouched beside the corpse of her latest kill. The Dravik's skull steamed where she'd burned away the flesh. She didn't flinch at the smell anymore. The horror had dulled into focus, every motion sharpened by necessity. She carved the Dravik insignia from its armor and tied it to her belt, a silent message for the others. The hunt is equal now. Her visor pinged movement 40 meters north. She froze. Through the brush, 3 heat signatures pulsed in formation. Not beasts. Dravik. She could read their patterns now, efficient, coordinated. Predators trained for military extermination, not just sport. They were adapting. She adjusted her rifle's charge and whispered to herself, "So will I." A voice crackled through the static in her helmet, unexpected and thin. "Solen, do you copy?" Her breath caught. "Who's transmitting?" "This is Lieutenant Harrow, Emergency Band 9. The Council fleet's out of range. We're scattered. Only a few of us left." "How many?" she asked. 4 confirmed. Maybe 5. The Dravik wiped our dropships. We're regrouping at Ridgepoint Delta, 1 click south of the alien camp. Myra's eyes hardened. "That's suicide. They've got 10 left." "Not if we strike first," Harrow replied. "Command's dead. That makes you the highest-ranked surviving cadet. Ewan." She looked at the horizon. Smoke and lightning marked the Dravik camp, fortified, humming with alien tech. To go there meant walking into the heart of death. But death was already coming for them. "I'm in," she said. The trek to Ridgepoint was brutal. The jungle fought her with every step, thorns slicing through her suit, spores burning in the air. She moved silently, training overriding exhaustion. Every rustle made her finger tighten around the trigger. When she reached the rendezvous, she found 3 survivors, ragged, hungry, eyes hollow, from sleepless nights. Lieutenant Harrow knelt over a small fire, his leg wrapped in torn armor plating. "Didn't think anyone else would make it," he said, voice low. "Lucky you were wrong," Mira replied. Beside him, Corporal Janice, a medic, gave her a grim nod. "You really killed 3 of them?" Mira didn't answer. Her expression said enough. Harrow unrolled a holographic map, projected from a cracked wrist pad. "Their camp's here. Energy readings show a beacon core, probably their comms relay. If we take it out, they lose orbital link. No reinforcements, no escape." "And we send a signal home," Mira said. "A warning." Janice frowned. "Or a suicide note." "Same thing," Harrow muttered. "Either way, we show them humans don't die quietly." Mira studied the map. "We split. I'll draw them out. You 3 plant the charges. Once they chase me, you detonate the relay." Harrow stared at her. "You won't make it out." "I wasn't planning to," she said flatly. He didn't argue. In war, purpose was currency. She had plenty left to spend. The Dravik camp pulsed with alien rhythm, light shifting in waves, metallic hums reverberating through the ground. Mira crept along the edge, cloaked in mud and shadows. Two guards stood by the perimeter, their elongated rifles humming faintly. She tossed a rock. One turned its head. She shot the other. By the time the second realized, her knife was already in its throat. She hid the bodies under foliage and advanced. Every step calculated, every breath controlled. The beacon towered in the center, a spire of silver and bone, pulsing blue at the top. Energy arcs leapt from its sides, powering the Dravik sensors. Mira activated her comm. "Harrow, I'm in position." "Charges are planted," came the whisper. 5 minutes. "Copy." Then came the sound she'd learned to fear, the clicking growl of a Dravik commander. She turned, and there it stood, taller than the rest, armor inlaid with blood-red markings, its eyes reflecting firelight. "So," it hissed, "the human wraith walks among us." Mira raised her rifle. "And you still talk too much." It lunged, faster than she expected. Her first bolt grazed its shoulder. The second missed entirely. She rolled under its blade, feeling the air sing past her neck. It slammed her into a metal pillar, claws cutting through armor. Pain screamed down her side. She drove her knee into its gut and jammed her knife upward, slicing through the softer tissue under its jaw. The alien howled, thrashing. She ripped her blade free and fired point-blank into its chest. It fell hard, smoke curling from the wound. She exhaled once. 4. Then her comm crackled, panic in Harrow's voice. "They found us. Pull back, detonation in 30. She sprinted toward the ridge. Plasma fire tore through the air, burning trees to ash. She could hear Janice screaming orders, Harrow shouting over the explosions. Then silence. A single blinding flash erupted from the valley as the charges detonated. The shock wave knocked her flat. She rolled behind cover, ears ringing. When she looked up, the alien camp was gone, obliterated, reduced to molten craters and twisted steel. The beacon lay shattered, its blue core flickering out. Mira's comm was dead. No voices, no signals, just static. She staggered to her feet and looked over the ridge. The survivors were gone, swallowed by fire and debris. The jungle burned for miles. She whispered, "You did it, Harrow." Above, alien dropships screamed through the sky, frantic, disorganized. Without command link, the Dravik units fought like beasts, angry, confused, directionless. She smiled grimly. Humanity's chaos had infected them. She scavenged ammo from the fallen commander's body and started walking north. Her vision blurred, but her steps never faltered. Every footfall echoed the same vow. 9 came for her. 6 remained. As she disappeared into the smoke, the Dravik fleet watched from orbit. Their warlord snarled, tail lashing in rage. "She burns our kin and cripples our link. She is one cadet." His advisor hissed. "Then she is more than human." "No," the warlord growled, eyes narrowing. "She is humanity." That night, Mira sat beneath a shattered sky. Ash fell like snow. She pressed the last dog tag she carried against her chest. The engraving was faded, but she remembered every name. "Ridge points gone," she whispered, "but we made them bleed." The jungle wind whispered back, low, mournful, almost human. For the first time, the galaxy would learn that when humans were cornered, they didn't die, they adapted. The spark had become fire. Night returned to Arrivo's 4, heavy and crimson beneath drifting smoke. The jungle no longer whispered, it screamed. Fires burned through the canopy, spreading across the alien encampment ruins. What had once been a controlled hunt was now chaos. Cadet Mira Solen moved through the inferno like a shadow stitched from ash. Her armor was fractured, visor smeared with blood and soot, but her movements were steady. 6 Dravik remained. Their camp was gone, their command shattered, and their hunt had turned into a war they didn't understand. She crouched beside the wreckage of a downed dropship, scavenging a plasma cartridge from a corpse. The body still twitched, nerve spasms from a dying alien mind. She ignored it. There was no time for mercy or disgust. The explosion at Ridgepoint had done more than kill. It had broadcast a message across the stars. The Dravik fleet above had gone silent, its arrogance cracked. Their ground units were deaf, leaderless. They hunted blindly now, angry ghosts in the smoke. Mira whispered to herself, "You wanted the apex hunt? Welcome to the human version. Her internal compass pointed toward the relay ruins. The terrain shimmered under heat distortion. She could still see the beacon's skeletal remains, twisted spires, scorched bone metal. Beneath it, faint light pulsed. The Dravik weren't retreating. They were regrouping. She descended the slope carefully, rifle ready. Every sound felt amplified. The snap of branches, the hiss of cooling metal, the distant guttural commands in the alien tongue. Then came movement, quick, synchronized, a pincer formation. Too smart for beasts, she muttered. Too desperate for soldiers. A plasma bolt missed her by inches. She ducked behind a fallen pillar, returning fire. The jungle lit with blue-white arcs. 2 Dravik advanced through smoke, flank positions shifting perfectly. Mira waited until one crossed into her trap, a live charge wired to an old drone battery. She pressed the detonator. The explosion carved a crater. One predator disappeared in flame. The other screamed, armor splitting from the pressure wave. Mira rose, closed distance, and fired a single shot through its eye socket. 5 remained. She retrieved her knife, wiping it on the creature's armor. The ritual wasn't for pride. It was focus, discipline in a collapsing world. Then a voice broke through the static of her calm, not human, metallic, distorted. You are persistent prey. The voice hissed. You kill my kin. You desecrate our honor. She froze. The warlord. I don't care about your honor, Mira replied, breath ragged. You came to my world. You killed my people. You wanted fear. What you'll get is extinction. A deep, resonant growl vibrated through the link. We offered you glory and death. Instead, you crawl through our fires like vermin. I admire that in a lesser creature. Funny, she said coldly. You sound nervous. Static. Then laughter, slow, deliberate, cruel. Survive this night, human, and you may meet me yourself. I will carve your skull for my collection. The channel cut. Mira's grip tightened around her rifle. Meeting him wasn't fear, it was purpose. The warlord had spoken as if her death was inevitable. But inevitability was an alien concept. Humans didn't obey it. She pushed deeper into the jungle. Rain began to fall, acidic, hissing against leaves. The downpour cooled the fires, but painted the world in streaks of violet. The air reeked of ozone and blood. She found a clearing littered with metallic pods. Dravik bodies hung from hooks, their throats slit, trophies removed. For a moment she thought another human had survived. Then she saw the carvings on the trees, symbols etched with claws. Dravik had turned on each other. Their ranks fractured. The warlord soldiers blamed one another for failure. Hunters had become hunted, even among themselves. Mira almost smiled. You're breaking, aren't you? Something massive landed behind her. The impact shook the ground. She spun, weapon raised. The creature that faced her wasn't a standard hunter. Taller, broader, armor fused with living muscle, cybernetic tendrils coiling from its shoulders. The Alpha. Its mask reflected her face, a bloodstained human, eyes fierce beneath cracked glass. You, it growled. The one who kills like us. Not like you, Mira said. Better. The Alpha charged, ground splitting under its weight. She dove aside, rolling beneath its claws. The blade of her rifle snapped. She drew her knife, slashing across its leg joint. Sparks and blood splattered her armor. It roared, backhanding her into a tree. Pain exploded in her ribs. She forced herself up, coughing blood. The Alpha advanced, spear igniting with plasma light. Her vision blurred, but her mind stayed sharp. She spotted the wrecked pod behind it. Fuel lines ruptured, igniters still active. She grabbed a shard of metal, aimed and threw. The fragment pierced the fuel valve. Blue flame erupted, engulfing the Alpha in a roar of fire. It staggered, burning alive, trying to reach her. She picked up a fallen rifle, took aim, and fired once into its head. The body collapsed, molten and still. "For," she whispered. She sat on her knees for a moment, breath shallow, body trembling. Every muscle screamed for rest. But her heart refused. Humanity wasn't built to quit halfway through vengeance. Above, lightning crackled across the thick clouds. The fleet's shadow loomed, faint but visible. She knew the warlord watched. Mira wiped the blood from her mouth and raised her middle finger toward the sky. Come down here and find out what happens next. The rain intensified, drowning the fires. Steam rolled through the clearing, wrapping everything in fog. She pulled a recording module from her belt and activated the log. Cadet Mira Solen, Erevos 4. Relay destroyed, Dravik Alpha neutralized. Estimated 4 remaining, including command. To any Terran unit receiving this, humanity doesn't run. We adapt. We overcome. We outlast. She paused, voice low. Tell them the hunt's over. It's war now. Her hand shook as she shut the recorder. Then she stood, collecting what she could from the Alpha's remains, energy cells, blades, and a new piece of armor carved with its insignia. She strapped it to her shoulder like a badge. Thunder rumbled. Her reflection glimmered on the scorched ground. Half soldier, half shadow. The predators had come for sport. They had found evolution. Mira turned toward the North Ridge, where the last signals pulsed faintly on her scanner. For left, clustered around the warlord's landing zone. She adjusted her rifle, voice steady. Let's finish this. Dawn came reluctantly to Erevos 4. The storm had passed, leaving behind a wasteland of ash and silence. The jungle was gone. Only blackened stumps and molten rivers marked where life had been. Cadet Mira Solen stood at the edge of the devastation, armor scorched, weapon patched together with alien tech. The faint hum of her pulse rifle echoed like a heartbeat. Her visor flickered with static. She'd repaired it enough to track movement, for heat signatures clustered near the valley center. The warlord and his last 3 hunters. She started walking. Every step sank into the soft ash. Her body ached with the weight of exhaustion, but her mind burned cold. The human mission was over. Survival wasn't. As she descended, she passed the ruins of Dravik machinery, shattered walkers, cracked plasma cannons, and corpses strewn like broken idols. The jungle had eaten them all. Humanity hadn't needed armies to destroy them. Just one woman who refused to die. At the base of the valley stood the Dravik ship. Sleek and curved, forged from bone-like alloy, it pulsed faintly with red light. 4 figures waited before it, towering, armored, motionless. Mira stopped 50 meters away and raised her voice. You wanted your trophies. Come take them. The warlord stepped forward, towering above the rest. His armor gleamed obsidian, his mask carved with golden runes. In one clawed hand he carried a plasma halberd still dripping molten residue. His voice was deep, controlled fury. You are persistence incarnate, he said. You have killed my kin, burned my ships, and mocked our creed. I learned from the best, Mira replied. You taught me what you value most, and I'm taking it from you. The warlord gestured to his hunters. End her. 3 shapes lunged forward. Mira moved before fear could exist. Her first shot hit the leftmost Dravik in the chest, sending it crashing into the dirt. She rolled, ducking under a plasma slash, firing again, right through a second's eye socket. The last came at her with twin blades, too close to shoot. She let go of her rifle, grabbed one of its arms, and slammed her knee into its joint until bone snapped. It screamed, and she buried her knife under its jaw. The creature fell, shuddering. She turned back to the warlord. Just us now. He stared at the corpses, then at her. You are an anomaly. No prey adapts this fast. Then stop calling me prey. They circled each other slowly. The ground hissed under their boots. He swung first, the halberd's blade cutting arcs of blue light. She dodged, each movement timed to his rhythm, forcing him to overreach. When he struck down again, she fired from the hip. The bolt grazed his shoulder, burning through armor, but not enough to slow him. He countered with brutal precision, knocking her weapon aside. The rifle shattered against stone. She fell backward, scrambling to draw her knife. His halberd came down. She rolled aside, the blade slicing into the earth inches from her head. Your defiance is meaningless, he hissed, voice metallic and raw. Mira spat blood. So was fire once. She lunged, knife flashing, slicing through the cables on his gauntlet. Sparks burst out. The weapon's plasma core flickered. He struck her with the shaft, sending her sprawling. Pain seared her side, but she didn't stay down. Humans didn't stay down. She tore the Alpha's power cell from her belt, the one she'd scavenged from its corpse, and jammed it into the knife's hilt. The blade glowed blue-white, unstable but deadly. "Let's end this," she growled. The warlord charged. She ducked low, sidestepped, and plunged the blade into his armor joint. The cell overloaded instantly. Energy screamed outward, ripping metal and flesh. The blast hurled them both apart. Smoke swallowed everything. When the world steadied again, Mira pushed herself upright, lungs burning. The warlord knelt several meters away, half his armor vaporized. Beneath the shattered mask, his face was reptilian and scarred, eyes burning gold. He tried to stand, but his leg gave out. "You should not exist," he rasped. "Neither should mercy," she said, walking toward him. She picked up his halberd, reversed it, and drove the blade through his chest. The ground shook as he collapsed, breath rattling once before silence. For a long moment, nothing moved. Wind stirred the ash around her feet. She stared at the fallen warlord, the apex of a species that had thought humanity small. Now his skull would tell a different story. She retrieved his crest from his armor and clipped it beside the others. 10 trophies. 10 answers. Her comm unit blinked, a weak signal cutting through static. "Solen, this is Fleet Command. We received your distress beacon. Identify status." Mira exhaled, the sound half-laugh, half-sob. "Status, mission complete. Erevos 4 is neutralized. Dravic presence eliminated. Casualty report?" She looked at the burning horizon. "Everyone else. Just me." A pause. Then quietly, "Hold position. We're inbound." She turned off the channel. The sky was streaked with fire from descending shuttles. Human ships, at last. But she didn't feel victory. Only stillness. She sat beside the warlord's corpse and stared upward. The stars shimmered beyond the smoke, distant and cold. Somewhere out there, others like him waited. Other species convinced that humanity was fragile, that Earth's children could be crushed. She smiled faintly. Let them come. Her reflection in the shattered visor was unrecognizable. Not cadet, not soldier. Something older, harder. Humanity distilled to its core. Adaptation, fury, defiance. As dawn burned away the last shadow, she rose and began walking toward the landing shuttles. Each step left deep prints in the ash, marking the path she'd carved through extinction. Behind her, the Dravic ship cracked apart as its core detonated, sending a plume of fire into the sky. Fleet sensors captured the blast hours later. The report filed under incident. Erevos 4 became classified. But rumors spread, the kind that didn't need proof. They said one human survived where 10 predators fell. They said she didn't run, didn't hide. They said she hunted them. And when the Galactic Council convened to discuss the incident, the Dravic ambassador refused to speak. His species had lost more than soldiers. They had lost the myth of superiority. In the silence that followed, humanity's representative stood and said only, "Do not hunt us again." The words echoed across 1,000 systems. And far beyond them, on a scarred world still smoldering under alien suns, the ghosts of the Dravic hunt whispered the truth that would outlive them all. Humans were never the prey.